For people who want to send money abroad for whatever reason, either they are NRI, they have sold their property, or their relatives stay abroad, sending money from India is a task which is not very straightforward in India. So you have to fill up a lot of documentation, lot of declaration, and then on top of that you have to pay 20% as a TDS before you can send money abroad. Now, in between, they might have heard a term which is called Hawala for some or other reason, and might be thinking whether you can somehow use it because it looks very easy, straightforward. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you some secrets about Hawala transaction, which as a NRI or as a relative of NRI, you must know if this curiosity somewhere, somehow might have creep into your mind. And this is a must watch. So let's begin. So hi friend, my name is C. Arun Tiwari, and in this video I will tell you about something called a Hawala transaction, how basically it works, and what is the dangerous consequences or bad consequences may happen if you're really thinking somewhere. It's very important to learn because you may hear this from different kind of people and they have a different perspective. But as a chartered accountant, what perspective I am holding is very important to learn. What consequences can happen legally, illegally is very important to know here, so that in future you can make an informed decision. So let's begin. The first part, I'm going to explain what is Hawala transaction. I know most of people might be aware, roughly at least, but just for the sake of beginners who don't know anything about it, let me put this: what is Hawala transaction, how it operates in very simple words. So simply, suppose somebody want to send money from one country to any other country, because I think it's operate most of the country in some or other way. So there are shady businessmen who work, like who has this part-time business while they have their full-time business as a shady front counters, and they manage some kind of accounts. So basically, if somebody want to transfer money, they don't have to do anything. They just have to approach them, give them their money, most of the cases in cash. So it other way also it works, but most of cases you have to give them hard cash, and they will use some kind of password, some kind of code word, some kind of identification mark, which you have to tell the other counterpart, which is your friend or relative who is sitting in some other country, and they have to approach the partner of this Hawala operator. They have to share all these whatever identification marks is given, and that Hawala operator, the counterpart of Hawala operator who is working in different country, he will give whatever denomination, whatever has been agreed, after deducting their charges, that money in that foreign currency. Now it looks very simple, right? Just give here money and somebody can take money there. But the main consequences here is basically they are not sitting only on your money. They're sitting on lots of people's money who has some shady businesses, maybe have a cartel link, maybe have a drug link, maybe some other kind of link. So they're just sitting on money from the different kind of people, and not all of them are very keen and clean. Now, some people might be thinking, sir, it might be the money actually traveling. So basically, the money doesn't travel. It's just account settlement between two people. So might be somebody sending Indian rupees and taking some other currency in foreign country. Somebody from foreign country sending their foreign currency and receiving in India. It works both way. So basically, just settle the account. Money actually doesn't go anywhere, right? So hope you got a rough idea how it works. There are different digital formats also. Maybe in other video I will tell you how digital Hawala works nowadays. So with the advent of technology, cryptos and all, it has taken many shape and sizes and doesn't work. What I told you is the oldest method, the Hawala transaction, used to, or maybe now also it might be operating. Now, second important part, what are the issues somebody faces? First thing, if you ask me, if you're a simple plain person like me, law-abiding citizen of any country, you should not be thinking. But don't stop a video. You have to understand, because maybe somehow, somewhere, some of your friend might like to convince you. You know, it's very easy. Nobody knows. Nobody will catch you. And I have done many times. I'm expert of that. I simply just do crores of rupees like that. So maybe you get to hear this kind of bullshit in future. So you should be ready to know the real facts. Okay, or maybe a kind of real scenarios which person may get into if they really want to do something like that. So first important part, already I told you, these Hawala operators don't only deal with people like us. Basically, they don't deal with people like us. Most of the time, they deal with the people who are far from have a legal business, and all things are mixed up. And they somehow, somewhere, they have to maintain some kind of records. either physical or digital, code or in code word, and most of time or some other time they might have to cross their path with authorities, legal authorities or law enforcement authorities. What if happen if your name somehow pop up with other names with who have the very, you can say, challenging or kind of questionable track records? It will be very difficult for somebody to say that no sir, I am very simple person, I just sold a property and I just want to have a simple simple money transfer. I don't like banks, that's why I approach them. It's difficult. So it has been happened because you understand these people maintain money not only for you, for a lot of other people, and the money doesn't move anywhere. The money is basically just like a bank. It is added and subtracted, it just stay there. It is only the counterpart settle their account maybe once in a month or once a quarter, but basically the money don't go. So all the money stays there, and somehow they have to maintain all the record because they have to deal with their counterparts. So they, yes, they do maintain their records, and in record somehow somewhere some person's name may appear when they get caught, or maybe they got attention of law enforcement authorities. So the simple thing, if I say, this is the one biggest reason that it should be avoided. But that's not all. The first important part is the source. When suppose something happens and investigation starts, the first thing any authority is going to ask, the source. How you can explain where you got this money? Now understand, some part of time or most of the time it is the NRIs who sold a property, and some part of that they got as a cash because they feel it is part of Indian custom. It's not like that. If you want to deal 100% in white, customers, sellers and buyers both are available. It's your personal choice. So always I explain to my NRI clients who want to sell property, you just push your buyer and they will be agree to give 100% white, and it is win-win for both of you. But again, if they get into, the biggest problem is the money doesn't have a source. Do you think if you really direct those law enforcement authorities to your buyer, the buyer will agree that he is really paid this money? No, he will not agree. And that means you have had your hands with a money which doesn't have any source. So it's very easy to assume and put a charge is that somehow you're making money from illegal sources. Now, for once, suppose you somehow explain these things doesn't stay here. Maybe the legal authority of India may contact their foreign authority also. Then how are you going to explain them? Because it will become a double trouble for you, right? And all this has happened just you want to do a very straightforward. But do you think it's looking very straightforward? No. It will become very, very complicated, legally very challenging to get out of certain situation where you really got caught with a lot of bad people. So now, in last, I will tell you, really sending money abroad is very difficult. Actually, not. It's not that difficult. What you understand? The only thing you have to reach out to right people who has done that kind of work. Like we have a specialization dealing in lower TDS and NRI properties, and we guide people. So if you really want to transfer money, or any of your relative want to transfer money abroad, it's not difficult. If you are somebody like your relative is sending up to 7 lakh, the TDS itself is not applicable. Now lots of people have this misconception that if I sold property as an NRI and already I have paid taxes, but when I'm going to transfer my money abroad, again I have to pay 20% TDS on that, which is completely wrong. If you already have paid taxes while selling your property, either as a lower TDS or as a TDS, or while filing your return, at the time of transfer of that money abroad, you don't have to pay additional TDS. No additional TDS you have to pay. Just what you have to do, simple thing, you have to approach your bank. They will give you a form. You have to fill up that form and declare the source of your income, and then you have to get a 15 CSEV, which is part of our work. We generally give part of the package. So that is a digital form, like this is a PDF form. You have to submit to your bank, and your money will be transferred abroad without deducting any TDS if already you have paid TDS here. Now, if any of your relative are sending money abroad up to 7 lakh rupees, generally there is no TDS. Now, if somebody is sending more than that, then yes, there will be 20% TDS applicable. But that is like an advance tax. They can file their income tax return and get it back. Yes, money is stuck for some time, but it is not a lost money. It is not cost of a transfer. So in future, if somebody explains you that just pay 2% and Hawala, you can send it, why you get into 20% and all, just understand the cost you may incur if something goes wrong. I'm definitely not want here to do some kind of lecturing. Most of you are very, very wise and all these things. Only just I want to say some part of pitfalls which people may fall, and recovering from there will be very very costly, very very challenging than just getting some form fill up in the bank and getting a CA certificate where you don't have to do a lot of things. So another important part, if I want to say, the easiest way to send money abroad is a bank wire transfer, because it may be slightly costly or maybe it requires something, but there is no limit, and most of the time it has a chain of linkage from starting to end, where you have money deposit, which bank has transferred, where you have received. It's very easy to establish. It's very, no question asked, nobody can question about that, because it happens bank to bank transaction. So we have handled lots of cases related to NRI taxation or NRI transactions. Nobody can question if there is a end to end linkage of the bank. So that's was the reason, because I was hearing a lot of chatter from people, not the questions. I know nobody will ask question online for platform, but lots of people understand that, oh, they can also pull out, like most of like big bad people can do it. It's not for them. It's definitely not for people like us. We are simple law abiding people, and it's easier to get abided than breaking it. That's all, friends, in this video. If you have more question either on this Hawala related transaction or any other things related to NRI transaction or NRI taxation or selling property in India, I will be happy to help, happy to answer. Please ask those questions in comment section. That's all in this video. Thank you. Have a nice day.